My name is Endevar, and this is All the Mods 11. And today I have two plans. One is to continue with the AE2 system, expand this out a little bit, and we're going to get into some auto crafting. But I'm also going to address something that people have been mentioning quite a lot, and that is I don't have a decent power generation yet. Everyone is saying I should be getting into the power mod, and it's something that I normally do very early on, and I haven't done that this time because I wanted to do it different. But the people have spoken, so it shall be done. The plan is I want to get the auto crafting done first so I can use that to craft up the power stuff, because there is a lot of crafting to be done and it's so much easier if you don't have to do it manually yourself, even when you do have a system with everything in it. And if we have a look in here, we have pretty much everything for my storage system over at the old base now in here. So I have been very busy moving things across here, but as you'll notice, we don't have a lot of the valuables like the iron and the gold and stuff, and that's because that is still all in the storage drawers over at the other base. So yeah, I need to get this moved over somehow, but I haven't figured out how I'm going to do that yet, because in the latest version of this pack 0.6.0 functional storage has been added. So I'm not sure if I'm going to use that instead of the barrels that we're using at the minute, but for some reason I'm having trouble updating to the next version of the pack, so I'm still in 0.5.0. so never mind, we'll get to that at some point. But as long as I've got all the stuff I need, I can still grab it out of here. But you'll notice there's a lot in here, but most of this is what's in the drawers. So if we come down here, I'll show you what I've done, and I'm very pleased with this. What this is the bulk storage that we've got back over at the starter base, and this is all that's in it. That is now everything. There was absolutely tons in here, and I have moved most of it over here. So what I've done is just put an import bus onto there, and that is not filtered. It will just basically import anything that it can find storage for. And this is again another advantage of using these subnetworks, and this is what we got set up last time. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, the subnetworks, I highly recommend you go watch the last video. But what I've done here is I've added in a load more partitioned storage cells in here, and this is all the stuff that I've got loads of bulk items of. And what this will do is import anything if it can find it in here. This network here does not have access to any of the other storage, so it will only import something if it has a drive in here. So the one we did last time was the Certus, and I added in the Infinity cell, but then since then I've added in the Cobble Deep Slate, Basalt, Spruce Logs, Blackstone, Gravel and Sand, and those are all 64k storage cells. I think they'll hold about 500,000 items as long as I only have them holding one item. And then down here I've put some slightly smaller storage cells. So we've got the dark gems and the dark gem dust, and in here, actually I'll take this out so we can see how this works. In the cell workbench I've put in an overflow destruction card, so if this ever fills up it will just destroy any more that come in. But you know, I'm not going to need more than, I think I've got like 30,000 of each of these now, and that is more than enough. So if this does fill up, I don't even know how many it'll hold, but it's a lot more than this anyway. But then we've also got an equal distribution card, so this is going to partition this even further, so it's not going to fill up with just one item. It'll always have space for both of them. And I've also put some 4k drives in for netherrack, stone and dirt, and this is just for stuff I haven't got automated, but I do tend to end up with quite a lot of just from digging, so it is a manual thing stocking up on these things, so that's why I haven't done the massive drives. But if we ever do get into automating this, or we get a quarry running or anything like that, this may need upgrading, but for now I think that's more than good enough. You'll also notice we have 3 drives down the middle, and these all have 10 1k cells in each, and a lot of these are full now, and this is just all like the junk stuff that we had that we don't have tons of individual items of. But there is stuff in there that we may need to move into partition drives as well. So what I've done, I've crafted up these 3 ME terminals just so we can see what's in these things. So as these are all on their own networks, what I can actually do is put another ME terminal on there, and this will now only be able to see what's in there. So it is going to use a channel on there, so if we are using the maximum amount of drives on here, which will be 7, we wouldn't be able to add that on. But as we're only using 1, that's alright, so we can see everything we've got in there. So I have been to the other and got a bit more soul lava, because I'm planning on using that today for one of the power generators that I'm going to use. So then in here, let's just look at this one first. So this is all the bulk stuff, and that's what we've just seen. And then in here, this is the one where this is most useful, because we can look at this, and if we sort it by number of items descending, we can see some of these things are creeping into the area where we may need to partition them and put them in the bulk storage. But it's not too bad for now. I think there may be a couple of them that have spilled over into multiple cells, but it's not too bad at the minute. Once you start getting to like 10,000, then it's time to start thinking about that. But I'm going to leave that as it is for now, but I don't think I'm going to leave these on here because they're just not necessary. But I'll leave that one there, and then we can keep a check on things as they come in. So other than that, haven't really done anything. I would like to get the storage drawers sorted as well, but as I say, I want to see if I can get the pack working first and have a test of the functional storage and see if that's any better. But for now, we've got stuff to do. We need to get on with some auto crafting. So is it nighttime? Yes, it's nighttime, so I need to sleep because my power only works during the day. Right, so what I want to do now is get into some auto crafting, and the main two things we need for this is the pattern provider and the molecular assembler, and this is what holds your patterns that knows how to craft things, and this is what it uses to craft them. And then we also need some storage as well, but we'll get into that in a minute. So this is the point where I may need to actually add a controller, because auto crafting and subnets don't tend to go together very well. There is something that you can do with subnets and auto crafting that is very handy, but you can't put pattern providers on a subnetwork and access it from a different network. So if I was to put this, say, on the green storage network, I wouldn't be able to see it from the orange network. So we can put them on the orange network and use storage that's on a different network. That's fine, but you have to request it from the same network that it's actually on. One of the things we can do with like the farming network, if we had a separate network, which I actually have done, let's just go have a look at that. I forgot what I've done this. So I've done a little bit of rewiring here, and I've put this dense smart cable in now. So I've crafted up a ton more of the white cables, turned them into dense cables, and I've ran this down here. And then what I've also done is done a further subnetwork. So we just have the interface here and a storage bus looking at that. And this is going to be for all the automated AE2 setups that I'm going to have. So we have the budding status on here, but then when we do the fluics and the charge status and all the processors and whatever else we do on there, we'll probably put all like the intro seeds and the matter balls, and there's a few things we can do, just a few little small setups, but these will all be on this subnetwork here. And I've only done a small cable here, so we can just use 8 channels. Even adding all those setups in, we're only going to use 1 channel from this network. So you can see there we've only got 2, and that's because we've got an interface there and a storage bus at the other end. So that's it. So what I was saying about the auto crafting is I could have a crafting terminal on here. I wouldn't be able to access it from the orange one, but I could use it to auto stock and export it into the main storage network. So I can't think of anything off the top of my head that I'd do in here, but let's just say, just randomly, if I wanted to convert all of these into blocks, I could stop it from exporting directly into there, have some storage on here that couldn't be accessed from anywhere else, and then I could auto export into this interface with a crafting card, and it could use the auto crafting that was on this network, even though it couldn't be used from anywhere else. So that is a way you can like kind of cheat the system and have your auto crafting spread across subnetworks. But if you want to request it yourself, it does have to be on your main network. So that is what we're going to get set up now. So we're just going to do something very basic for now. We're just going to go with a pattern provider and a molecular assembler, and it's all pretty cheap stuff, isn't it? Why isn't that working? Oh, I haven't got a crafting table. Okay, so let's just get a few of those, and then a molecular assembler. I'll grab one of those, and then we just need to do a couple of these crafting units. I need some more cables. Again, I've crafted loads of these, so let's get one of those. Let's get 2 of those actually, or 4. Let's get 4. And then I'm going to do a 4K crafting storage, and that's just these crafting units and the 4K storage component. So let's get one of those, and I'm also going to do some crafting co-processing units as well, and that just means it can do multiple operations at the same time. So let's get you in there, and we'll get all 3 of those. Nice. So that is all we need to set up, but this is going to use 2 channels, and it has to be on the main network. So we're already using 3 in there, but the other thing we need to do as well is we need to use at least 1 more channel for a pattern encoding terminal, and ideally 1 for a pattern access terminal. So that's going to use another 2 on there. So after this, we are going to be using 7 channels on this main network. So we may be getting into a controller today, but I'm holding off for now. So let's have a look at the terminals, and I want to do the pattern encoding terminal as a minimum. Or was it a crafting terminal I need to do? Okay, let's grab you, and then with that we can turn that into a pattern encoding terminal. Put that on there, sort that the way I like it, and then we also need to craft some patterns, and these are just blank patterns that we can use to encode all the stuff that we want to auto craft. So let's grab a stack of those, and then we can put these into this slot here. So now we're pretty much set up. We can do a pattern access terminal, but that'll basically just allow you to see all of the pattern providers that are on this network. But as we've only got 1, it's not too complicated, so we can do that later. So if we come down here, and we need some more orange cables first, don't we? So let's get some of those, and I will put this is not going to be too pretty just yet, is it? Shall we just go straight across this way? We can have all our crafting storage down here. I say all, but there's only 1 for now. So we have 4 on there now, and then we're actually going to put these on here now. So we're going to let's have them coming out this way actually. Although can I fit that? I can fit on there, guys. Have that on there. Can I do that? Yeah, there we go. So I'll put that on there, and that is our crafting storage. And this is basically just something that holds the items while you're crafting, so you can't take them back out again. So you do need this to use the auto crafting. So there we go. We now are using 5 channels. So we'll put that on there, and then we're just going to put the molecular assembler next to it, just like that, and that is now using 6 channels. So we could add in another one, and you can put multiple of these around here as well, so you can do multiple things at the same time. But let's just go with that for now, and we're going to start with the patterns that we need for the Powah mod. So if we just have a look at Powah, there's a lot of these little subcrafts that are a bit of a pain. So we're going to do all, even though I've already got some of these here, let's just do these. And I've got tons of blaze powder, so I'm going to go with this version of it. Oh, have I not got my blaze powder in here? I think it's all in there, isn't it? Yeah, let's just grab a ton of the blaze powder. Let's stick you in there. So in pattern encoding terminal, let's get you. So 2 coal, 1 clay ball, and 1 blaze powder will create 16 dielectric paste. So we just click this button and it'll turn it into this pattern. So now if I was to put this in here, and you can see we only have 9 slots in here, so there's not a lot of room, and there are more advanced version of this from extended A&E. If we have a look at the pattern provider, there's the extended version, but we need to get into the crystal assembler to do this, and I'm not quite there yet. So we're going to go with the simple one for now, and we may add another one in if we run out of space, but we're just going to go for all the basic stuff from Powah. So if we have a look in here now, and I look for Powah, you'll notice that this has a little plus sign next to it. So if I middle click on there, I can say that I want to craft a number of these. So if I say I want to do 100 and click next, it's going to tell me if it can do it or not. So it's going to craft 112 of these, because that's just the multiple of how many the recipe is. It needs 7 clay balls and 7 blaze powder, no problem, but it needs 14 coal, and we've only got 1. So that means I need to get the coal into the system as well. So if we get this across from the starter system, so this is why we need to get those drawers over here as soon as possible. So now if we do that again, middle click there and do 100, that is going to be able to do it. So aside from telling you how much it has, it's not really much use, is it? I could just go into here and just say I want dielectric paste, and then I could just do that and then just click that and do it myself. Where the auto crafting really comes in is when you're having multiple crafts. So if there's like a lot of nested crafting, so let's say I want to craft the basic capacitor, I would first need to craft the dielectric paste. So if we have a look at the things that dielectric paste is used for, if I set up a pattern for one of these and I didn't have any dielectric paste, and then I requested this, it would craft everything that it needed in the recipe beforehand first as well. So that is where auto crafting comes in really, really handy. So I think these are a good thing as well. And it says there as well what it can already craft. So that is a really good thing. So we'll do that. And then we'll also have the recipe for the iron bars as well. So we don't need to craft those. We'll do the horizontal dielectric rod as well. And then with these, we need to craft the, this thing, the dielectric casing, which uses both of those. And as you can see, we are getting through these quite fast, and we're probably going to fill that thing up, aren't we? And then with this, the main thing that we need to use is the energizing orb, and this is how you get into the later tiers of Powah. That'll do us for now. So let's get all these into here like that. So we have space for another 3. So what I'm also going to do as well is put the energizing orb onto a pattern provider. So that's why I'm trying to leave a bit of space in here. And then we can use that to request all the higher tier materials, and we don't have to stand here just clicking things into it, because it can be a bit annoying doing that. So what I'm going to do is now set up, is it nighttime again? Let's have a sleep. Right, so as I said, I'm going to do the basic capacitors. So let's get those in there. And then the tiny capacitors as well. These are used for the cables and the energizing rod and a couple of other things as well. So I'm going to do these. And these are just crafted from the basic one, which again is easy to do. But when you're doing like the bigger recipes, it's just handy to have all the small stuff all ready to go automatically. I suppose now we could set up the recipe for the energized steel. So this is the first level of Powah that you can't do with base materials. So there's 2 levels, the basic, the starter and basic, but then the next level is hardened, and for that you need the energized steel. So you need an energizing orb, you put iron and gold into it, and that will produce 2 energized steel. So we can do that recipe. And then if we click this, you can see here it's a processing pattern. So this doesn't go into the crafter that we've already got. So if we come down here, we can put the other 2 in there, but that will do absolutely nothing in there, because what this needs is to go into an energizing orb. So I'm going to let's actually do this now. So let's get another pattern provider. No, I don't want a pattern for it. Right? Let's get a pattern provider like that. And then I can put this one, just put it down here. So let's do this one down here a little bit. Put this one here, and then I believe I can just put the energizing orb on top, but I don't actually have the energizing orb yet away. I don't know why I've done a pattern for the energizing orb. I've just thought I don't really need to do that away because you only actually need one of them. So let's get that, and that has already crafted everything for us with that. And now I can put acceleration cards in here as well to make this faster. But what I'm going to do is take out the pattern for the energizing orb because we don't need to use that one again ever. So what I can do with that is just put that pattern back into there. And if I just click this, actually get rid of that, click that, that'll just make it a blank one again. So I can put that back in there. So with this pattern here, I can put this in here and then put that on top of there. What we need to do here is change the blocking mode to do not push crafting ingredients if inventory contains a pattern input. So we don't want it to put multiple recipes into here at the same time. So we could actually request this recipe now and it would put the items in there, but it wouldn't be able to complete it because it needs charging with these things called the energizing rod. Now, I'm not going to be able to do the good one straight away. I'm going to have to start with the basic one, and then as we get the materials, we can build up into the higher tiers. Let's go craft one of the energizing rods, and you can see there it's saying I can request that, but it won't work. So we're going to get best one we can do, which is the basic one. And with this, if we control and click, it's going to craft up all the things that it can. And if I look at that again, it's telling me I just need to craft the starter one first. So we'll do that as well. Get the starter one, and then with that, just need to craft another one of these. And then we can craft that into the basic one. So all we need to do is give this some power. Now it's actually taking it out of my pocket generator, but we need to provide this with some proper power. As much as it's annoying everyone that I'm still using these solar panels, I'm still going to use it for this. So let's get a cable, and I'm hoping that they will connect to this one. And then I could use a pipe here to just import everything, but I'm going to stick to A2. And if I'm ever using A2 for just piping stuff around and they're just like their own little subnetwork, I always use the blue cables. Don't know why, I've just always done it. So let's get one of those. We're going to use an import bus, and yeah, that'll do it. I'm also going to need a quartz fiber as well. Actually, I'll need a storage bus as well. Let's get that. Let's have you, and that should do it. Right, okay, so what we're going to do, let's just dig out here a little bit. Nice and janky. Oh, I thought I had a little platform there. Can I go up? Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to run a power cable up here, and it's raining again. We'll put that on there. Fill that back in a bit. I may have done this a little bit close, but if we put, let's bring it out here a bit. Put that there, will that work? That might work. And you can use multiple of these as well, but we've only got the one for now, so we'll just stick that there. And I think that should do it. So that has power. I mean, it was charged up anyway, so let's just see how that works. But what we're going to do here is we're going to put an import bus on there like that. Take our blue cable like that, but then that is going to say it's using all of that because it's on the same network. So what I'm going to do instead is put this as a subnetwork. So we have an import bus going to a storage bus. It doesn't like that because it's not connected to anything now. So what I'm going to do is steal the power from this one, and that'll make that a subnetwork, and it's basically just a pipe. So it's going to import anything from here and store it in the pattern provider, which will then send it back into the main system. So now I should be able to request the hardened steel. So let's do 10 of them. It's going to send 5 iron, 5 gold. Let's see what happens down there. So let's put that into there, and it's already imported it, and then it's put the next one in. That's done it. So what we can do as well, again, is put acceleration cards in there, which we'll need to do for pretty much everything. But that's doing it. That power is keeping up, isn't it? So yeah, I think that's all of them done now. So if we just go have a look in here, we have our 10 energized steel. So we can now use these to get into the next levels of power as well. So we can craft up the next level of the cables, the capacitors, and then all of like the energy cells and a few other things. But we're not going to stop there. We want to get into the next level as well. Probably should just request a few of those just so we have a bit of a stock of them. And then I should get my acceleration cards as well, shouldn't I? Do I have any anywhere? Grab you. Yeah, let's get that. And I'm going to put these into this import bus, just so once these are done, they're instantly straight out and then charging again. And the way you upgrade this is never upgraded, the orb. But you can upgrade these and have more of them, and they just send the power to it much quicker. So with this level, it's not that big deal, but once you get into like the nitro levels, it's just crazy how much power they need. And yeah, this thing just wouldn't do it on its own. So you'd need a few of the higher tier ones. So those are all done again. So I think what I'm going to do now is, how many channels we've got on here? Yeah, so we do have space for one more pattern provider. I'm edging ever closer to the controller eye, but I'm not giving in yet. So let's get the pattern provider and the molecular assembler. Just get a load of crafting tables. So let's get one of you, and then we're just going to put these here like this, and now those will both be able to use both of those. I should probably get some more acceleration cards as well. Right, so now the next step is to set up all the patterns for the hardened ones. So this button here allows us to see all just what's craftable. So that is everything we can do at the minute. So now I just need to set up the patterns that use the energized steel for like the capacitors and stuff, and then we can have a look at the next level, which we should be able to do because I think it's the blaze one, isn't it? And we've got tons of blaze stuff. So yeah, hardened is the next one, and then it's blazing. For these we use blazing crystal, and this is again in the energized orb. We just need to put either blaze rods or blaze powder in, and we'll get these. And we have tons of both of these, so I think I'm gonna go for the blaze rods because yeah, I've got loads of those. So that'll mean doing the energizing rod, the hardened version, which we can do now. So I'll get all these patterns set up, get a couple of these crafted, and then we can have a look at doing the next level. And a short time later, I've been setting up a few patterns, and I've also taken the energizing rod off so we can craft this into the next level. And I have already done this for a few of the others. So let's just have a look at this. So it's the hardened capacitor, which we just craft from the large capacitor, which we get from crafting two of the basic ones together. And then we can turn that into these. So let's get a couple of those. And then with that, we can then turn that into the hardened energizing rod. So if we come down here, I've already set up 3 of them. So these are the hardened ones as well. So I can now take this and put that on there. And we now have 4 of these, so that'll transfer the power much quicker, and that means it'll just craft it quicker. So what I've also done is set up the patterns in here for the next levels that we need. So the next one is the blazing crystal, then with niotic crystal, spirited crystal, and finally the nitro crystal. Now this one is a bit tricky because we need nether stars for this, and I think I've only got 7. So depending on how many we're going to use, I may need to go kill some more withers. But I've also bookmarked down here the things that I want to craft. So the main thing I want to do today is not really about power generation. I am going to do the thermo generator as like a backup power, but the solar panels I really do like, and once we get into the higher levels of them, they do generate more than the power reactors do. The thing I really want to get is initially the energy cell, and this holds an absolute ton of power, so 2 billion FE. So if we just have the solar panels running into there, even if we don't do the moonlight upgrades, they will still store enough power for everything to run at night. But while we're doing that, we might as well upgrade this into the ender cell, and what we can do with this is wirelessly transfer the power. This is like the source of it. We just pipe everything into there, and then we can use these things called ender gates and basically just stick these on the sides of machines, and it will wirelessly transfer the power, and it can transfer 1 million FE per tick. So that is more than good enough for what I'm doing at the minute. And then aside from that, what we also need to do is the player transmitter, and this does exactly what you think it'd do, and it just transfers the power to me wirelessly and charges up everything I've got on me, meaning I don't need to carry this thing around with me anymore. So a couple of things to do before we can get into that, but I do actually have everything set up, and I think I've got all the resources to do this as well. So let's get back up here and see if we can actually do this. I haven't set up the recipes for these rods, so what I should do really is break one of these and try and craft up the things I need for this. So to turn this into the next one, all we need is 2 of the blazing capacitors, and the rest of it is all basic. So to do this, we need the blazing crystal. So I just need to do 4 of these things, and we should be good to go. Have the pattern set up. So let's just get, I think it's 4 for each one, isn't it? And that does 2. And I need 2 for each one, so I think I need, is it 16? Have I done that right? Let's go with that, see what happens. So if we come down here, that should be doing it now. So yeah, that's turning the blaze rods into those things. So let's have a look in here. Those are coming in. And I've probably worked this out wrong, but yeah, actually I think I've done more than I need. But let's just wait for those to finish. Actually, no, we can do 1 cowrie and then we can put that one down there as well. So with those, so if we have a look at the blazing, I've also set up the patterns for the capacitors. So can I do 4 of these? I can. So, oh no, because the crafting CPU. So yeah, I did need to wait for that to finish before I could craft up the next thing. So let's grab those. And with these, I can turn this one into the blazing. Put that on there. And I'm not sure if I can do the rest, but if not, I can just do some more kai. So let's grab these and craft that into the next one. But that's used all of those. So let's get some more of the blazing capacitors. Let's do 4. And then I want to go, do I not have quartz really? Let's get some of that. Oh no, all my quartz is still in my old system, isn't it? So let's just grab a ton of this and some of the blocks as well. Where are those? You go in there. And I can get another one of those. And can I do that as well? So stick these on here. That is our 4 energizing rods. So let's put all of those on there as well. So let's put that on there, and then we can get the next level going, which is niotic. I'm just going to do a few of these. They're going to get used anyway, so I might as well do a few. So what? Let's just do a stack. So get those going, and that should be fairly quick with 4 of the blazing rods. And you can't see the power transfer with this as well. Oh, is it nighttime? Yeah, that'll be why. Let's go have a sleep. We're very close to this not being a problem anymore. Okay, so you're doing your thing now? Right, that is a stack of those, isn't it? But anyway, I will continue with this, and if we just have a look at the other things, it is basically the same thing. So what I'm going to do is work my way towards getting the top tier of the energizing rod, and it is exactly the same thing. Nothing that interesting I'm doing here. So once I've got the Nitro-tier crystals, I can craft them into the Nitro-tier capacitors and then upgrade the blazing ones into these. And then it's the same again, craft the spirited capacitors, and then we can craft the spirited energizing rod, and then finally into the nitro. So I'll get all that done, and then we'll get on with the next bit, which should be a little bit more interesting. Right, so I've got through the boring bit, and I now have 4 of the spirited energizing rods. And you may notice as well, these cables are a bit different. I have upgraded them into the best one I can afford at the minute, and that is the energized golden cable. So I was using the golden cable, which can transfer 16,000 FE per tick, but these can transfer 524,000 FE per tick. Not that I'm generating anywhere near that kind of power, but I have put a second of the tier 5 solar panel there, so it is transferring quite a lot. I should probably put an energy cable in here as well, which I'll probably put this here so I can use this to transfer the power out. But before we get ahead of ourselves, what I need to do now is start on the nitro crystals. So what I've also done, I haven't got them on me, I've also crafted up some of the energy cells. So I've got 2 of the Nitro ones here, and these are a bit of a pain to craft because you have to go through each level. You have to do the basic into the hardened, into the blazing, all the way up to this, and then with these, I can turn these into the spirited, which I can do now actually. So let's get some of these things. I'm going to need to do another set because I'm only going to get 1 spirited out of this, and I need 2 spirited to make the nitro. So let's get those going first, and then we just need 4 of the spirited crystals. And then with that, finally, I can craft the spirited energy cell. So I do need another one of these to craft this thing, so I'm going to need to go through all that again, but firstly we need to get on with the nitro crystals. So we're going for this, and the ender cell, you may notice this is a lot cheaper, so you don't have to go through any like crazy crafts for this. It's just the 4 nitro crystals, the obsidian, and an ender core, and I've added in the pattern for the ender core as well, and this is also done in the energizing orb. But the reason this is relatively cheap is because this doesn't actually hold any power on its own. What you have to do is click the energy cells onto it to give it the storage space to hold the power. So we can actually do this. So let's do some of the nitro crystals first. And I think, how many do you get for this? You do get quite a lot. Even though they use nether stars, you actually get 16. So let's just do one of these for now. We'll get 16 of them, and it's going to craft up the block of blazing crystals because I've already got that, and I've already done a load of blazing crystals as well, so we should be able to see this happening. So yeah, that's put everything into there, I think. Yeah, so it's doing it. It's going to transfer tons of power out of this. Yeah, see, that's already struggling for power, but that is done, so we should have our nitro crystals in there. Nice. So with these, I can craft the nitro capacitors. So yeah, let's do it from the recipe so you can craft up the basics. So I'm just going to get 2 of these. Oh no, I need to put those in there. So let's get 2 of these. That's going to use half of those that I've just crafted, and then I only need 2 to do this. I need 4, so I need to do another one of these, which is a bit of a pain. So shall we do the other stuff first? So firstly, we can do the ender core. So I've already put the pattern for that in the energizing orb, so let's get one of those. That should be nice and quick, and then with that I can craft that into the nitro ender cell. So let's grab that. And as I say, we need to craft some of the energy cells first as well. And you can use the low ones if you want, but I just want to go for the big one. Although, would that be enough to hold 400 million FE? No, let's do it properly. Let's go for the big one. So the player transmitter, is this any easier? This is probably going to mean going through all of these as well. So that's a bit of a pain, isn't it? So I'll tell you what, let's do the lowest level of the player transmitter as well. And then I can do all the other stuff off camera, because that's nice and boring. So we need to go start with this one. Aerial pearl. Oh, this is the first one where I need to do the aerial pearl as well. So this is an extra step that I forgot. With all these, you just use the previous version, but for the lowest one, you need to use this thing called an aerial pearl. And you do this by crafting the aerial pearl with dielectric paste, iron bars, and an ender pearl. And what you need to do is right click this on a zombie and it'll turn it into the player aerial pearl. So I'm hoping it's going to be night sunset. So let's see if we can go find a zombie somewhere. Plenty of skeletons. Do we have a zombie? There we go. There's one. All right, so you come here. Yeah, that's taking that zombie, and I now have a player aerial pearl. So with that, I can now craft the starter player transmitter, and then it's just a case of going through all of these and turning them into the next version. So I'll get that done. I'll get the other spirited energy cell done, and then we can come back and craft up these things, and then I think that'll be pretty much it, won't it? Apart from the power and maybe a thermo generator if I have time. So I'll get this boring stuff done and then we can look at that. Right, so a very short time later, I've got my nitro player transmitter crafted and 2 of the spirited energy cells. So let's do this. I just need another 2 of these. Hopefully I can do this. So let's get 2 of you, and it's going to, I just need to craft another load of those. So the bit that was really easy, I did off camera, and now the bit that I'm just going to have to wait around for this thing, yeah, actually, it's not going to take that long though, is it? Yeah, there we go, that's done. So hopefully we should be there now. So yeah, we've got those, and we can now turn that into the nitro energy cell. Brilliant. So what we can do with this is if we put this where we're generating the power, I think it's just going to be down here for now. I will do some more power as well, but I think these can input output on any side, can they? So I'm going to do this. Let's go in there because I want to have it low down here because I'm also going to do the thermo generator down here as well. So we'll put that there. Now, if we look in here, this is 0 of 0 FE, and that's because it doesn't have any built-in power storage. So if I hold down shift, it'll highlight the things I can put in there. So it's done it for this one. So if I shift click on this, that now holds 2 billion FE. So it's going to suck out all the power from those solar panels up there and store it in here. And hopefully that should mean I'm never going to run out of power again. We'll see. But yeah, I'm going to have to obviously start generating more as well. But let's just make sure that, yes, I think, yeah, so these are all on receive and extract. So we can input and output to any side of this. So that is going to start filling up there. And I also want to put my player transmitter on there somewhere as well, don't I? So let's stick that. Can I just put this on top of here? Would that work? It doesn't need to be. It can be absolutely anywhere. So this won't work straight away because I need to put a card in here. And I think I need to do that with an aerial pearl as well. So these have changed a little bit. Binding card dimension. It's the Enderman one, isn't it? So I can use this to just use it in the overworld, I think. But then if I do this one, I can do it from any dimension. So use a binding card on an Enderman or Endermite. We can do that. So the craft for this one is pretty simple. So let's go get that done, and then we can go find an Enderman and get our personal power sorted anyway. So power. Let's do the card. So blank card. One of you. Turn that into the binding card, and then with that we just need to go right click this on an Enderman, which I'm obviously going to do in the end because that'll be the easiest way to find them. I suppose the Enderman farm. Now let's go to the end island. Where are you? All right, you're my victim. So I'll right click on there, and that is now a binding card dimensional. So if we go back to the base, and as you can see, I've already put my generator away, so I'm not actually generating any power a minute, and my armor is running down. So if we just come down here, stick this, I think I need to shift right click it. Yeah, so that's gone green now because I've shift right clicked it. And now if I put that into there, that has now sorted all my power on me. That has recharged all my armor, and anything else that needs doing as well will get automatically recharged. I don't think I showed this as well. I put the power upgrade on my netherite stick, so this won't break again. This won't use durability. This just uses power instead. So to do this, you just take the battery template with a block of copper and smithing table, and these are really simple, nice and easy: redstone, glass, and a potato randomly. But that now uses power, and it will be always charged from this wherever I am because it's got a dimensional card in it as well. So that is it as far as the transfer of the power goes. So that, are we doing 32,000? So that's going to charge that. So that's going to hold 2 giga FE as well, and that will hold 2 billion FE once it gets there. So let's help it out by doing the power generation before we get the gates going. So what we want to do is craft this thing called a thermo generator. And what you do with these is put them above a heat source, and they will passively generate power. And they are pretty good as well. So there is another generator from power that consumes like lava. Where is it? It's this thing here called the magmator. But it just gets through it so quickly. So the thermo generator is definitely a much better option. And with this, there's 4 heat sources you can use: either magma block, lava, blazing crystal, or the best one by far is the salt lava. So this is what we're going to use. So we just need to get this crafted, and unfortunately this is a case of going through all of these again. So I need to get all of these crafted, and I also need to do the thermo plates, which I need quite a few of. So let's get a few of these. Doesn't matter if I do more than I need, because I can use them to craft some more of them if I want to do some more of these for power. So they are really cheap as well. Tiny capacitors, blaze powder, and redstone. So let's just get 100 of those, and then with that I can start going through the crafting of this guy. So let's just get some capacitors, starter one, and I'll go through all this since I skipped all the other stuff. So basic, hardened. Now if I've got everything, this should be fairly easy, but if not, it'll be a pain. So niotic, or so close having everything. So let's get this spirited. We only need one of those, so now we can craft that into the spirited. And then finally, all right, so we need to do 2 nitro capacitors, so it's gonna have to do those first. And now those are done, we can turn this into the thermo generator nitro. So I'm just going to grab some lava, and we can see the difference when using these. So all we need to do is put this down somewhere, and it does need to be off the floor a little bit because I haven't got anything beneath here. Shall we grab some glass? I think that's going to be the best way to go. Let's just grab a little bit, and if we put, I don't know, because we can have space to do some more, can't we? So let's just leave a gap so I can get in there. So we'll put that on there, and then we also need to give it water as well. I forgot about that. So let's just get a sink, and we can do that directly from here. I suppose I could do that with A2 as well, but I'll just go for the easy option for now. Just grab bucket water, review, and do I have some pipes? There is also the fact that I don't have any channels left on my Orange network, so let's not talk about that. And then grab you. And I think that should do it. It doesn't get through loads of water doing this. So we'll stick that there. And then we'll put food pipe on there. Set that to extract. And put that in there. And that has now filled the water. And it does slowly go down, but this will more than keep up with it. So now we just need to put the heat source beneath it. And if we just have a look at this, can see this is generating 2000 FE per tick, which is pretty good. But if we put the solar lava down there instead, that is now generating 18,000 FE per tick, which is slightly better than the solar panels I'm using at the minute. I think they do 15,000. So this is like the top level of this one with the top fuel source, and it's only just better than those solar panels. So I'm not even at the top level of the solar panels yet. So I'll definitely be upgrading those. But for now, I think we're just going to wire this into here. I'm going to go like this so I can put another one in there. Now is that yeah, that's transferring out of there, and that's coming into here. So yeah, that's going to take a while to fill all this up, isn't it? Because I am not generating a lot of power at all. Doing the nitro level of these is definitely overkill, but I think once we start generating some power, at least we're ready for it. So the last thing we need to do is craft the gates, right? So the problem we have at the minute is this power is only powering these things here. So we've got the power source up there and here. This is where it's all stored. That's transferring it to me, and then it's also used in these. But it's not powering my AE2 system, which is what I want to happen. So we have an NG acceptor outside here. So we need to put a gate on there, and then that will be powered by that cell rather than directly from those solar panels out there, or the one that I've got there anyway. So what we're looking at crafting is this thing here. I'm obviously going to use the nitro one as well. So it's obsidian, the energy cables, and an ender core. So I need to do another ender core, that's fine. So with the gates, you also need to use the energy cables. Now, the great thing about the energy cables is there's two recipes for them. You can either level them up like you do with everything else, or there is just a slightly more expensive recipe where you can just craft them directly, but you get double that. So let's get all of this crafted, craft up a set of cables, and then we just need to do an ender core. And then we can craft up for the gates. So we're obviously going to need to do a lot more of these, but this will definitely do the trick. So I don't know how the power situation is going with this. Is it? Yeah. So that is going down now. So what we need to do is get outside, and you don't need to link these. They work on channels. So if we put this, I'm going to get rid of this solar panel, and I'll put that on there. So if we click in this, we're on channel 1. If we clicked on channel 2, that doesn't have any storage. So if we click on 1, we're using the same one that we're sending the power into, basically. So that will now be putting power into there. And if I can just come down here a little bit, that is now charging that up. So yeah, we definitely need to increase the power a little bit, but I think that is much better than it was, and that should keep me going through the night. So that is definitely a massive upgrade. I don't even need to have this outside anymore. The only reason I did this is because I was using solar panels, so I'll get that moved inside as well, but I'll probably do that during the day. What I can do as well while I'm out here is I can put another one of these on here. So I do have some more of these somewhere. I don't know if I kept them down here. I can see the ones from my starter base as well, okay? So once those are running during the day, and with that thermo generator, we should be doing all right. So I think I'm going to get some more of those thermo generators crafted. But let's just have a sleep. Hopefully the power coming a little bit quicker. So I was just doing 20. That's not really very good, is it? So yeah, it's going to charge all of this first. But it is getting there. And yeah, I think I definitely need to do at least another one of these, maybe a couple more. I think I'm going to get on with that between episodes, get the power generator from this going. And then next time, I think I want to upgrade the solar panels because they are ridiculously good once you get into the higher tiers. But with that, I think we'll leave it there. I've done very well this time. Got a bit of auto crafting going and got the start of the power mod. So hopefully that should make a few of you in the comments a little bit happier. But we'll leave it there and get on with some more power generation next time. So if you have enjoyed this episode, please do leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. And I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.